Hey there. Today, we're going to jump into a story called The Priceless Necklace. It's all about a discovery that, on the surface, looks like it's worth a ton of money, but it ends up revealing a treasure that's so much deeper than gold or jewels.
So, let me just start by asking you something. What does it actually mean to do the right thing? I mean, really, especially when nobody's looking, when you could so easily get away with doing something else. Keep that question in mind, because it's right at the heart of the story we're about to get into.
There's actually a word for that idea, and it's a really powerful one: integrity. And it's not just about, following the rules so you don't get caught. It's more like having an internal compass, choosing to do the right thing just because you know it's the right thing to do. Let's hang on to that definition as we dive in. Okay, let's get to the story. It all kicks off with this single moment, a priceless dilemma where one choice is about to change, well, pretty much everything for two young friends.
So let's meet our main characters, Aanya and Meera. They're in the 5th grade, live right next door to each other, and are absolute best friends in this small, cozy village called Devgar. I mean, think about that kind of friendship where you do everything together. Yep, that's them. Their world is pretty simple, pretty uncomplicated. Or at least it was.
So one afternoon, they're just hanging out, playing by the river, when something glittery in the mud catches Anya's eye. And what is it? It's this heavy gold necklace, just sparkling with all these gemstones. I mean, there's no question. This thing is worth a lot. And just like that, their totally normal day gets turned upside down.
And wow, this slide really lays out the problem, doesn't it? Their reactions could not be more different. Aanya, her mind immediately goes to what they could get. Think of the money. But Meera, her first thought isn't about what they could gain, it's about what someone else has lost. She's picturing the owner totally heartbroken. And that's the dilemma right there.
So, you've got this huge dilemma. How do you possibly solve it? Well, this next part is the real turning point, where a really simple idea and a kind of painful memory helps show them the way.
Meera remembers something their teacher taught them, the golden rule. And this is a piece of wisdom that is so universal, you can find a version of it in pretty much every culture on the planet. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's a simple little sentence, but for Aanya, it is about to become very, very real. And this is where it all clicks. Suddenly, for Aanya, the golden rule isn't just some words their teacher said. She gets hit with this memory of losing her own grandmother's ring, and that awful sinking feeling in her stomach, how devastated she was. And in that moment, she gets it. She can actually feel what the owner of this necklace must be feeling. And that empathy, it changes the entire game. Okay, so now that Anya's on board, the friends are a team again. They've decided to choose the path of integrity. And as we're about to see, the reward they get for it is something money could never, ever buy.
So, what's the plan? They get to work. They start making these found signs, but they're really smart about it. They don't describe the necklace in too much detail, so only the real owner would be able to identify it. Then they go and post them all over their school, all over the village. They aren't just waiting for something to happen, they're making it happen.
And guess what? It totally works. A few days go by, and an older woman, Mrs. Sharma, sees one of their signs. She comes up to them and describes the necklace perfectly, including all the little details they left out. And it turns out this wasn't just some expensive thing she bought, it was a priceless family heirloom that had been passed down for generations. And that brings us to the reward. And no, it wasn't cash. It was seeing the look of pure joy and relief on Mrs. Sharma's face. It was getting invited to her house for amazing homemade sweets and listening to her tell all these incredible stories about the necklace's history. They realized right then that this feeling, this connection,
was worth way more than money.
Of course, in a small village, news like this travels fast. At a school assembly, their teacher actually calls them up to the front and uses them as an example for everyone. She explained that what they did wasn't just about giving back a necklace, it was about truly living the meaning of integrity.
So, after all that, what is the big takeaway here? What did this one shiny object end up teaching Aanya, Meera, and, well, all of us?
It really all boils down to this one simple idea. Sure, the gold necklace had a price tag, but the girls found something that was actually priceless. They learned that real wealth isn't something you can hold in your hand. It's the feeling you get from your actions, from choosing honesty and kindness.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. The necklace was a real object, but it really stood for something more. It stood for memories, family, history. So I'll ask you, what's the priceless necklace in your life? What's that one thing? Maybe it's an object, maybe it's a friendship, maybe it's just a value you hold that is truly priceless to you.